Hello, welcome back to my channel, Casablancacargo. This is Kathy. I hope you're having a good day today, and I want to share with you a process of how I make trifolds. So I believe I showed one of my boxes in one of my videos, that one of my journaling with me videos. You might have seen it. But this is one of the ways that I store my ephemera. And this is, these are things that I try to have on hand already completed when I do a journal. I used to do journals where I would start the journal, I would make all the ephemera as I went, and I would get bogged down with just the overwhelming, oh, I got to get all this stuff done. And so this last year and a half, I guess, after watching a lot of different YouTube videos on mass making ephemera, I thought that's a great idea, because I'll have things ready to go so that when I get the bases of the journal done, the pages, that type of thing, I can just go in and decorate it and put the ephemera in quickly, or quicker than trying to make it as I go. So this is one of my boxes. I'll do a go through what's in my boxes another time, but right now I want to concentrate on trifolds. So I have some already made up, and a trifold, let's go over here. A trifold is just an offcut of scrapbook paper or any type of paper that I cut down the scrapbook paper, and I have all these little extra, strips. So what I did was I folded them into thirds like that, and I stenciled that part, the inside. Sometimes I stenciled, sometimes, let's see if I have another one in here. Yeah, sometimes I would just use other offcuts to put inside. You can write on this, you can, leave it as is, decorate it, whatever. And here's another one of my trifolds. The backs are plain, so they just glue into the journals. And I will, let me see if I have one. I may have one. We start with a trifold, and it opens like this, and at the bottom it is now a pocket, and here's a tag. I started with this. These are all the offcuts from several years of making journals, and you see that, and I just put them all in this bag, and every so often I'd pull one out and, oh, I need a heart, so I'd punch out a heart, and that was it. And so I believe it was oh gosh, I forget which one it was, Rachel at Roxy Creations or Tina at Shabby Dabby Doo. One of them did a trifold with a really big piece of offcut, and I thought that was just absolutely genius. And so now I have all of these with the little offcuts that I have, and these, here's one, it says forms. And this one is, this is a sticky note that had a typewriter on it. And then I have a washi tape that looks like a stamp, and then a little piece of some of that, scrap paper, just put it in there and just collaged it on the front. And then on the inside is stenciled. And so, I have all of these now ready to go when I make my journals. And it's just a nice little bit of ephemera you know, to tuck in into a page. It just glue it into the page, and it's a hidden writing spot or a little place for a little picture. Here's let's see if I have any more large trifolds. These are the larger offcuts. This one is stenciled, and then it's ready to be embellished. Here's another one that's stenciled, and I need to embellish that one, but I need some more large offcuts, but these are for bigger journals. And yeah, so today I'm going to show you several things here. Get this out of the way. Now, along with having a paper addiction, you run into, well, I used to run into this when I would buy paper pads, if they were really clearanced, you know, like just a couple of dollars or whatever, I would just grab the paper pad. But I ended up with some papers that I'm not real thrilled with. And I did, you know, I can only do so much with animal print paper to a certain extent. And so what I want to show you today is how to turn that kind of stuff, like paper you're not so crazy about, and turn it into something that you might actually love. So what I'm going to do is take these hearts that I made from that kind of paper. I just punched these out last night while I was watching TV. Here's the punch I used. And this is another way to use up, or to use your punches. You know, just you know, doing something mindless like watching TV, and you just, you know, punch out a whole bunch of hearts. So let's get going on that. There's a dog in the neighborhood that's very upset at the moment, and I'm not going to wait for him because the heat's not waiting for me. You know? It's going to be almost 100 degrees today, so I just want to get my video going here, and I apologize for the dog. It's always something, isn't it? It's either the air conditioner or the dog, or I don't know, trash truck. Okay, so I'm going to use this napkin, which is just the top layer. The other two layers of the napkin are gone. Just take that off, and I had these left over, this piece left over. So what I'm going to do is put Mod Podge on the fronts of these hearts, and then put them on the napkin. We'll see how many you can get on here. And so I got my brush, got my little pot of Mod Podge, and let's see what we can do. I want to see what happens with this one in particular, because it's just I don't know, I want to see if this is going to work, because then I'll have another way to use up this crazy animal print paper. I've used it for hinges and changing a binding on a book, on a journal. You know, what I'm going to do now is work on this and speed up the video. I'm going to put some music on so that we can get to where we're going. Back in a flash. Okay, what I'm going to do now is set this aside, let it dry, and then I'm going to iron them down between two pieces of parchment paper on a low setting with no steam, so it bonds into the paper with the glue, and that's Mod Podge in here, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back for the next part. So what I'm going to do now is take these offcuts, more animal prints, which are just charming, aren't they? Okay, so the offcut, no, let me get one out. Grab it again. Upside down. Oh, and I got these cases at Michael's. Let's grab this one. So, or they're on Amazon too, but I think the Michael's are a bit better quality. So here's the offcut, and I don't this way. Just to help me score it. So I think, no, might as well just use this as a template. Okay, so the cover part is a little bit longer than the inside. I'm just going to line it up. This one is 4 1/4, and this one is 8 3/4 ish. Okay, so just fold it. There's the doggy again. He's upset. So I got my dinner in the crock pot already. That's why I'm not out here so fast this morning. But at least we won't have to get takeout again, which we've been doing a lot this summer because it's just been so miserable. But you know that. I mean, I've talked about it. Who cares anymore? But I hope wherever you are, you're having a lovely, lovely weather. We did have a nice couple of days, and you know, I was thinking, oh good, you know, we're going into fall like, you know, regular people. No. Okay, so what I'm going to do is what the technique that I do for my journal pages when I use scrapbook paper. I'm going to mass quantity stencil. So when I first started doing this, I would stencil individually, and you know, as I go along, I'm like, well, you know, let's just do it all in one go, because they're not going in the same book. So it's not like you're gonna have to worry about, oh, I've got the same stencil going on in all these pages. No, you just break them up. I usually do about 2 trifolds in a journal, in a 2 signature journal, 2 or 3 signatures. And one is a large one like this. This is what I would call large. This is a small trifold. This is a large trifold. Okay, now that you got the gist of it, I'm going to speed up the recording and put on some music. See you in a bit. Okay, that bit is done, and okay, I'll podge on it. The parts are still drying, so now what I'm going to do is just, I don't know, I don't think there's a top or a bottom necessarily on here. Let's see how many can I fit in. Let's just do 3 at a time. Okay, so large stencil. Let's do this one first. Large stencil. And just lay it down, and since it's, you know, I'm gonna move it over once I get it, and I'm gonna use blending brushes. Grab this one, and let's see what color. I always use, well, I've been using Vintage Photo a lot, but I want to try something different. I'm going to use, what have I got over here? Mermaid or Mowed Lawn. You know, I'm going to use Mowed Lawn. So just use my green one, green indicator. Just for something different. Just sort of, anyway, it's going to be very light. It should be very light. I'll just put it that way. I just want a really light background. So just very lightly go over the stencil. And avoiding any hard edges. That's the hard edge on the end of the stencil. Whoops. I got a little too much green. Oh well. Okay. There we go. That's not bad. And just scooch the stencil down, which is backwards anyway. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? And just try to find where you left off or whatever, but just very lightly go over. Like that. There. So it's just lightly colored in, and I don't know if you can see that or not. It's very light, but at least it's not, you know, this dark white. That's what I was going for. I'll do these 3. And then I'm going to use the other, this stencil. You can do it darker if you want. Some of them, when I started out, I was doing it darker, and then I thought, well, if I do it lighter, then it's easier to see when you write something inside. So I just learn as I go. Hopefully I'm learning as I go. And I'm trying to avoid this hard edge over here with the Harlequin. Okay, that's pretty good. Move this over. I think I missed a whole spot over there though. We'll go back. But this way it goes faster, and I'm not sitting here you know, worrying over how many stencils, when to, you know, change them up and stuff. I get bogged down in the details of doing things and end up taking a long time to finish. And that's the thing. It's been a ongoing process for me to finish what I start. For a long time I would, that's crinkly while I'm talking. I don't know where your bag went. For a long time I would stick these in there. Start something, get tired of it, get bored with it, or, you know, just like, oh, I can't see the end of the tunnel with this thing, and then I'd go on to something else and never have finished products. So I have forced myself to you know, finish and not go on to something new. And that was, you know, that was a pretty major victory for me. Okay, so I guess I should have thought about that, because now my writing and stuff is upside down. So now this is a closes on the right side. Oh well. So I guess the better thing to do would be to stencil first, then fold, because if you have directional stencils, you could have messed up. But that's another, do as I say, not as I did. There, just get some of that, you know, where it comes out of the pad. Sometimes it has that little perforated edge. I'm just going to trim it off. But these are so light, I don't think it really matters so much about the direction of the stencil. I can't really tell which way that's stenciling anyway. So okay, so now we need to get on with the decorating. Let's just get these out of the way. Let's see if let's see how the hearts are doing. Are you dry, hearts? Yes, my heart is so parched and dry. Yeah, I can still feel it. It's a little bit. Oh, look at that. That's neat, though. That's gonna be kind of cool. Well, I don't know. It seems okay. Okay, so I'm going to attempt on camera for the first time. I'm going to iron these here hearts. And hopefully, oh, there we go. Take this out. Put that in. All right, I'm gonna go set up my iron and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. These are pretty dry. And I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to put, this is a wool pressing mat. I got it on Amazon during Prime Days, and I have it in my Amazon Prime Day playlist video. Whoops. This is an extra. Okay, so I've got my iron here and 2 pieces of parchment paper. Okay, my iron's on medium low, and I'm just going to go over the hearts like this, and this will keep the edges from lifting, should, you know, and bond the napkin into the paper with the heat. I think that might be pretty good. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little bit more. One more low press. Okay, so you let this cool down and turn off the iron. I'll let everything cool down and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got the hearts, where's that paper at? Started out like this, and now, you know, you can barely tell it's in there. So I'm going to, let's see, I'll just cut out a couple here. See how we did. Just gonna oh, that's neat. Somebody's doing yard work, or I don't know what they're doing. Fixing something. So which would you prefer, that noise or the air conditioner? I'm kidding. I'm just gonna see if this will take some of the napkin away from the edges. Oh, that's neat. Okay, so there's that heart. I wanted one of those darker ones. Here's one. I want to use one of these darker ones. I wonder if it would go. No, I'm going to cut it. If this was thicker cardstock or scrapbook paper, I'd be able to just get it away from the napkin, away from the shape with the nail file, but it bends a little because it's just that thin stuff. There's the dog. He's noisy this morning. Okay. I'll just take it. Okay, this was that crazy orange, dark, like I think that's snake scales. Some, that was that one. But these, I'm just going to do one trifold to show you how I put it together. I've got two little hearts, and I'm going to just stress them on the edges. Probably should use, I can't really see that. I'm going to use the archival ink because I Mod Podged on the top and the bottom, so just to, yeah, I'm going to use the same brush, so, or applicator, go like that. I like that one a lot. This one is not too bad. Okay, I'll leave that out because I'm probably might need it again. Okay, so we get a trifold. Let's see. Which one? Well, it's pretty big. This one. This one. Okay, I'm gonna use this zebra. I'm gonna use the zebra print, and I'm going to distress the edges. First, okay. So I'm gonna decorate the front, and as you either store it away or you put it in the journal, and after it gets decorated on the front, and the pressure of the book, the decorating, it'll lay flat in the book. Okay, let's see if this works. So I'm going to put this one. This is the darker, scaly. Watch me not have any glue come out. It's been a while. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to put on some music and decorate this thing up. Okay, and there's a trifold with the hearts and just some little decoration. And this will go in a journal. And there you go. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.